Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League Racing TV here for round number nine of the CTC Console Championship. And tonight we take in a legendary circuit on the F1 calendar. It is, of course, to Spa-Francorchamps we go. Of course, 7 kilometers, 4.3 miles, 19 corners, a lot of iconic names of these corners. Of course, turn 1 at La Source, Le Combs at the end of the Kemmel Straight, Pouan, and then of course you got the likes of the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap. Now, guys, my name is, of course, Michael. I was going to be taking you through the action here tonight. Now, I am not by myself for tonight. I do have a co-commentator with me. He's currently not here right now, but he is on his way. It is Ivan Tonsik. So we will be welcoming Ivan at some point in the stream. But, of course... Oh, there we go. He is here. But unfortunately, the stream wasn't picking up the audio right there. That actually just caught me off guard. Can you talk? There we go. There we go. There we go. Right, the audio is coming through now. Yeah. So we do have Ivan Tonsik with us here tonight. Ivan, are you in the lobby now?
Yeah, I am. I'm all ready.
Okay, lovely stuff. Of course, we are going racing here at Spa, a fantastic circuit, a legendary circuit, and the drivers we have in store for tonight is a very interesting mix in terms of the lineups. Of course, Shazoo, Cedar Igniters, the championship leaders coming through with Venom and Volakongan, ETA coming through with Oxcrew and Silo, what's called TF10 coming through with Ticho and Tiago, Evolution Racing Team with Mishka and Lucas. And as well, one thing that we do have to say, of course, Lucas is going to be serving a qualifying ban due to EVR. Of course, unfortunately, last week being done for illegal blocking in qualifying, Ivan.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here all season long. It's actually my first race here, so I cannot precisely tell what has happened. But yeah, Lucas facing the consequences of someone else's mistake and sharing a quali ban for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, we're going to see how Evolution Racing Team bounce back from their qualifying ban. Of course, Alien Motorsport coming through with Aaron and Ivan. IRT Esports coming through with Bumbier and Mashuzu. Let me know if I've pronounced that right or if I've absolutely butchered it. Mashuzu is what I'm going for, so let me know if I got that right or not. All Elite Racing Team coming through with Shadow and of course Gitan. Azuri Esports with Daniel and Justin. Ground Effect Spec Racing with Metal and RWB. And of course LR coming through with Leora and Typical. And looking at it, we have all 20 drivers on the grid for tonight, which is fantastic to see. And we're going to be looking forward to getting into the action. Guys, unfortunately, there is no no stand-ins for this week. Unfortunately, we are going to try our best to get them all sorted now for the next race. But one thing I do know is that Shazoo is definitely leading the way, and of course a very close battle going on with TF10 and ET8 for second place in the standings. That is of course what we do know, but we will try our best to bring you stand-ins once we're able to get updated on them all. But apart from that, the only other thing we got to go through is, of course, our sponsors and partners here at CTC. Of course, our sponsors with Gridfinder, and then, of course, with... Let me just bring it up. Of course, we have Pivot Media, where, of course, they are offering video. Well, they're offering a graphic and video designers to elevate your brand or business. Check out their X in the description. And of course, to our partners at Virtual Setup Engineer, the brand new setup shop for all of your setup needs, where they offer setups for all the tracks plus a custom chat box so you can customize the setup to your driving style. Now, Ivan, we are here in qualifying. Of course, we've gone through everything that we've had to so far. I think there's no better thing to do now but to head out onto the track and see what the drivers are doing here in qualifying one. Of course, a full qualifying session tonight after the sprint race of which we had last week. And we can see a lot of drivers immediately out there getting lap times in on the wet or intermediate compounder tire. So making sure they're doing their first laps, just getting their eye in on the wet tires.
Yeah, that's the, let's say, one of the OG tactics in F1 esports. Basically, just to check if everything is fine with the car and their setups without wasting a set of dry compound tires, which can be and which will be most likely very precious in the rest of qualifying and in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we've seen this plenty of times over the course of the season where a lot of drivers get their first installation laps on a set of the Inters, and then obviously at the end of Q1 they'll chuck on a set of the soft compound tires, try to get themselves into Q2, and then obviously try to manage their tires so they can get through into Q3. But the interesting thing that I've seen is obviously there's some that have done a lap on the Inters, but there's 3 that have done it on the wet compound tires. Now, I am not 100% sure why you would be looking at the wet compound tires unless there's a potential threat of rain at some point in qualifying. You want to save a set of Inters for later in that qualifying session. Of course, the skies are looking pretty grim out there, so there could be a threat in the latter qualifying stages.
I mean, it's always double-edged sword around Spa because the track situation in the Ardennes Forest, it can be unpredictable with the weather. At the moment, it is kind of a partly cloudy weather, but mostly dry. But we will see what happens with the weather in the rest of the evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Daniel saying that the stream is lagging. I'm not dropping any frames. I did drop a few frames at the start of the stream, but I haven't dropped any in a while. But I am also seeing like a little bit of buffering in the lobby as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully everything is good. But on board with Daniel now as we climb up through Eau Rouge and Radion on the ERS. As we come down the Camel Straight, DRS will be wide open as we come down to the break-in towards Les Combes. And of course, getting this sequence of corners right is so crucial, Ivan. We head down now in towards Brussels, third gear, the gear of choice, and I think actually Daniel might have backed off a little bit. In fact, no, he's using his ERS. I just saw the flashing fuel sign as we go through Pouhon, through there in 7th gear, still using a bit of the battery, so he's drained almost all of the fuel out of his car to get this lap in as we head through Campos now in towards Stavelot, as we're going to head down onto the run now towards Blanchimont, and of course the final braking zone at the bus stop chicane. But let's see, does Daniel get through Blanchimont with no issues at all? Completely flat, straight through, no issues whatsoever. Now the braking in towards the bus stop chicane just before the 100-meter board, down into third gear.
A little bit of rear locking.
Yeah, a little bit of rear lock in there for Daniel on the exit though. DRS, and to the line he'll come, and it's a 41.7.
Yeah, but from what I've seen, at least the part I have seen, it was a pretty scrappy lap He was struggling on the entry of. He was struggling to bust up chicane on the entry and through the corner, and also entry to Lefania wasn't particularly the greatest. Also to Campos, but so I think there is a room for improvement.
Yeah, and of course, the drivers out there on track, they're going to be looking to find those improvements, that is for sure. Obviously, Typical right now on a lap, and Typical's had a very good season so far. He's had a few races where he's picked up some very good results for LR, so he's definitely a driver that can get in and amongst the thick of things when the pressure's on. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can do it again tonight.
Oh, bit of twitch.
Yeah, a little
bit of a twitch on the exit of Lefania.
Yeah, 1:13.6 millisector split for Typical. Of course, we're seeing a 41.7, the fastest lap so far from Daniel. We're going to see just how much time Daniel has lost, and there we go. Ivan straight away there, a tenth and a half improvement on Daniel's lap time. 41.5 for the bus stop chicane. We'll go now with Typical as we come through, and to the line will come Typical, and it's a 41.3, and there we go. We just received confirmation that we do have the updated points going into tonight, so apologies for it being on pause 2 seconds. The game does not like it when I tab out, and which is unfortunate, but we do have the updated standings, and we can take you through the updated standings right now. Of course, Shazoo CD Igniters leading the way on 270 points. Then in second place on 184 points we have ET8, and they are 9 points ahead of TF10, who are currently in third. Evolution Racing in fourth on 136. Then of course we got Legacy Racing LR in fifth on 91 points. Ground Effect Spec on 76 points. And then of course we got Alien Motorsports on 63. All Elite Racing Team on 48. Azuri Esports on 30. And then of course IRT, who have only recently obviously joined the championship. I believe it was last race where they joined. Of course coming through with Mashuzu and Bumpier for tonight. They are currently on 20 points at the back of the field, but a great opportunity for them to climb up the position, especially if they can capitalize on Azuri so far this season.
Yeah, but as I want to say, meanwhile, while we were reading this,
sorry to cut you off there. I was just on board with Mashuzu there. I believe Mashuzu was on a flying lap, and I think that was that Typical. I think that was Typical there. Getting in the way coming through Blanchimon. But yeah, Mashuzu not going to be happy with that. Of course, last week IRT they weren't happy with one of the drivers getting held up, but it seems to have happened again as Ivan there, double guessing on whether or not to go for a lap, but he's coming to the pits, and yeah, he's going to get himself geared up to go again.
Yeah, as I wanted to say, while you were reading the standings, there were some changes on the leaderboard. Typical, who impeded in your words as far as you. So I wasn't on board with him, so I cannot precisely tell who impeded. Who was it? Can you repeat that? I forgot.
It was IRT Mashuzu, who I believe was on a lap coming up towards Blanchimon, and Typical was on the racing line, but I'm not sure. I think it was an impede from Typical.
So things going from bad to worse for Typical, because meanwhile he slid from first place all the way up to fifth, as Silo, Wolankongen, Mesha, and Usku all beat at his time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
of course, Silo into the 140s, 140.9 there for Silo. A very good lap time from him. Ivan asking why is the stream lagging? I think it is more the lobby than the actual stream, because I'm not dropping frames at all, Ivan. So apart from the frames I dropped at the beginning of the stream, it has not dropped a single frame since then. So I think it is the lobby that is lagging for me. So my connection to the lobby must be a little bit dodgy.
Tylo, Lankogen, and Misha all retiring. All they think they have done enough for this part of the session.
Yeah, and of course that is something that does usually happen. Of course, we see the ET8 and Shazoo and usually a TF10 as well. All of them out on the laps. They usually set a very good first banger that they can retire from Q1 and they are confident that they're able to get through into Q2 with the times that they've set. Of course, Mishka, Osku, and Typical have also retired from the session. Same with Bumbier. And Venom has also retired as well. So everyone outside of the top 7, apart from Lucas, who of course is serving a qualifying ban, going to be looking to get themselves going on one final run. 2 minutes remaining here in Q1 as on board with Mashuzu, and he is lagging around. But again, I'd like to say it is not the stream that is lagging, but it is what it is. We will persevere as Mashuzu there up through Eau Rouge and Radion onto the Camel straight, and now DRS wide open as we head down in towards the break-in of Le Coms. Looking for the break-in around about 75 meters out, nicely through the Com section now in towards Brussels, and this is a big lap for Mashuzu now. Ivan, of course, with his previous lap getting impeded, he needs this to be a big lap now. Hello, Ivan?
Sorry, I had something to do. Didn't catch your part. Sorry if you. By the way, I'll just use the opportunity. If you hear some voice from my end that it isn't me, that's probably some people around me in my house. So I cannot control that. I'm sorry in advance for that.
No, you are good, mate. You are good. But what I was saying is big pressure on Mashuzu now to get this lap on the board. It has to be a good lap.
Yeah, but he's handling quite well, as far as I've seen. We don't reach there on the exit, but nothing too scary. Fourth, I think that's him through easily.
Time will tell as Metal's just getting his lap underway. We got about 20 seconds remaining here in Q1. As the first car to cross the line will be one of the Alien Motorsports cars, and there's going to be Aaron, who is coming through Stavolo now, 113.7. Right now, obviously, in terms of the lap times, let's have a quick look at the lap times. Tiago is currently on the bubble for TF10 by 51.7, but that is on a set of the wet compound tyres, so he's going to be improving out there on the track. But here comes Aaron now.
Speaking of Tiago, he's coming to bus stop now. Sorry for cutting in their mic.
Yeah, Tiago into the line, and he will jump up into Ticho coming through as Tiago now to the line, and he stays 16th.
16th, yeah.
Absolute heartbreak for
bittersweet for JR. Bittersweet for, I think is that Juventus JR, or is it what team is it?
That is TF10, Tiago and
TF10
and Ticho.
Medal, because they have two different abbreviations, so that's good. So that confused me. Apologies to the TF10 boys.
Yeah, no worries. We got Medal now on a lap. He's marginally up, and of course he would be knocking his teammate out here in Q1 if he jumps ahead of him here. But Medal, as he loses it, coming through the bus stop chicane, the back end steps out on him, and heartbreak there for Medal, and that's his lap over and done with. So we are going to lose Medal from Ground Effect Spec Racing. We're going to use Daniel from Azuri Esports. The big shock is Thiago from TF10, who is, of course, going to be out in Q1. Of course, Gideon is also going to be out, as well as Lucas, who did serve the qualifying ban for Evolution Racing Team. So they're the 5 drivers that will not be taking any further part here in qualifying. And a big lap at the end for several drivers sees them through into Q2.
Yeah, it's only Q1 and the drama already started.
Well,
but this is not all. Stay with us.
Yeah, we will run you through the order. Of course, going through into Q2, we got Silo, Volakongan, Ticho, Mishra, Shadow, Mazuru, Osku, Typical, Venom, Bumbier, Justin, Aaron, Ivan, Leora, and of course RWB. Out of Q1, we have Medal, Daniel, Thiago, Gaten, and of course Lucas there. And he is obviously going to be working from the back of the field after that qualifying ban. Of course, Daniel asking, this stream is so lagging and so far behind. I mean, it's not like, so the lobby's lagging for me. It's not the stream that's lagging, because I've not dropped any frames in that. The internet hasn't cut on my end for it to be massively effective in terms of like it being on my end. I think it's just my connection to the lobby that is lagging thus far. So, I mean, it's something we're gonna have to persevere with. Like, you know, there's nothing else we can do about it. But that is it. That's all we can do. We're not dropping frames. We're not cutting out in terms of the internet connection, and you know, the only lag I'm seeing is in the lobby, which is just my personal connection to the lobby, which, you know, it can't really be helped. Of course, start Q2 now.
Cars on track already for the start of Q2, very early. I mean, at least compared to what we see in real life. But yeah, game in real life sometimes are two very different things. First of them being Tico for TF10, who barely got through in the last part of qualifying. He got through in the last stages, to put it more precisely.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Chicho, big lap at the end to get himself through into Q2. Of course, he was one of the drivers that was down there in the bottom 5, and he got a big lap on the board to get himself into Q2. And of course, we're going to be seeing what he's going to do now if he can get himself into Q3. Of course, he did set a very, very quick lap time, so you would imagine that he has the pace to get himself into Q3, but as the track evolves in qualifying, the track is only going to get quicker and quicker, Ivan. So we're going to have to see what happens. Of course, TF10 in their battle with ET8 for second in the championship, and they want to close in on Shazoo as much as possible. They need Ticho to be firing on all cylinders here.
Yeah, and also for qualifying here, it is important not only for Tico and TF10, but for everyone to get at least one good bunker lap in, because you cannot leave everything for one lap around here, because one mistake and it's done. And the track is really long, so you need to time your laps and make them count really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ticho just starting his lap now, coming up through Eau Rouge and Radion as we head onto the Camel Straight with DRS wide open. And of course, looking for the perfect braking zone now into Le Combs, a 30.4 first sector. And of course, Ivan, obviously Q2, this is where we're going to see drivers do 2 laps on the set of the softs. It's not going to be a case of you know, just trying to make sure you get that 1 lap in to get into Q2. Now they're going to be putting 2 sets of softs, maybe maybe they might do 3 if they're not confident in their final runs, but they might potentially be having on a scrub set of tyres here at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be probably that, and probably they'll try to extract 2 laps out of them because they want to have the edge for Q3 and to save an extra set of soft compound tires compared to the others. But I think we'll see two laps on 1 lap on all your set of softs, maybe 2, but we'll certainly see 1 lap on a new set of soft tires.
Yeah, absolutely. As we come through the bus stop chicane with Ticho, and now to the line he'll come, and it's going to be a 41.9, so maybe indicating that he is on a scrub set of soft compound tyres to start this session. Of course, he did a much better time in Q1, so maybe the scrub set of tyres are out to play for Ticho as well as some other drivers out there. Typical coming to the line now, and he's going to go P3 with a 42.5. As we got Ivan now coming through the bus stop chicane. What can he
really
do?
high on the curve.
Yeah, really on the curve there, and that would have compromised him just a little bit, but he has got the fastest lap so far.
Yeah, but yeah, really high on the curb, and also little bit of wheel spin coming out of the bus stop chicane, but yeah, still enough for first place for now until Justin comes and does 41.5. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Justin there, big lap, 41.5 for him. As we have Shadow, who's just started his lap. We got some movement in the garage. Osu coming up on his lap. We got Mishka on a flyer right now, as I believe. Yeah, he is further along than Shadow, so we'll stay on board with the Evolution Racing Team driver here as he comes through Brussels and of course through No Name in towards Bouron now. Dropping it down into 7th gear, a small lift there coming in towards Bouron, and of course now in towards the Campos section.
Yeah, through the canyon now. Oh, bit of the curb. I think the rear stepped out a little bit, tipped the tire in the gravel, scruffy up, at least in this part for Misha.
Misha now coming up towards Bron Shimon. Completely flat out. ERS nearing to complete depletion here as we come through the bus stop chicane. He should have just a little dab of it now to the line, and he is going to use it all, and there it is deployed, and it's a 41.1 for the Evolution Racing Team driver.
Yeah, really good time compared to the graphics scan part of the lap, but enough for P1. So pretty much, as far as I've seen, nobody really got the lap together during the entire distance of this track, which is really hard. We have to give the credit to the drivers. One of the toughest and longest tracks on the F1 calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently on board with Venom for Shazoo. See the Ignite as he heads towards the Campos section, and of course through Group Ball 3 as we look at that middle sector split. And what's it going to be for Venom? It's a 13.8 as we go through Stavolo, and now the run down in towards Blanchard. He does have a lot of VRS still to use at this stage, and he's going to hold back on a bit of it, and he's going to deploy just a little bit more on the exit, but coming in towards the bus stop chicane, he has slightly more than what we saw Mishka have, and now to the line he's going to deploy it. He's going to run out just before the line, and it's a 41.3 for him.
Yeah, P2 right behind Misha.
Yeah, as we got Silo on our lap, Bumpy on our lap, Volakongan on our lap, Aaron on our lap, Oxu on our lap as well. I believe Oxu is the next man to cross the line, so we'll stay on board with the ETA driver, and then it'll be Volakongan up next to get his lap on the board. Oscudo going through a Blanchimon now, running down towards the bus stop chicane. Third gear, the gear of choice, running a little bit deep there, so I definitely compromised him just a little bit. Of course, people are saying that the stream is suffering. I mean, I've got the stream open on my phone, and it's not that bad for me. Like, it's a little bit of lag in the lobby, but it's not that bad. But if everyone is requesting a quick little restart on the stream, then I can't do that.
Sorry for cutting in, Mike, but Silo 140.524, absolute like monstrosity of a lap time, monstrosity in a positive way, if it can be used in that way. Volakongen in second with 40.9 and Bumpier in third with 141.1. So Misha from first to fourth in just 3 lap times. That's 3 separate lap times.
Yeah, and while we are in a little bit of a calm phase, around about 5 minutes out, I will adhere to the request in the stream for me to give it a little bit of a restart. So I will stop streaming momentarily, then I'll start it back up again, guys. So I will be right back. Okay, right. Okay, right, guys, we are back streaming once again. Dirk saying, can you not stream in 1080p? I can. It is meant to be in 1080 stream, 1080p. I can see the quality is at 720 right now. Yeah, no, it's 720 now. It's 720 now. But yeah, the choppiness, guys, is not really from like from my stream or anything. It's more. It's more my connection to the lobby. That's legit. It's not anything that I can control. It's just my connection to the lobby. Like, sometimes it does happen and that, where the connection is just a little bit choppy to me in the lobby. But it is what it is. Like, if it's manageable, it's manageable. Like, all I can do is apologize, and hopefully next week it will be better. But I can say right now, obviously my internet is running smooth. The stream didn't drop any frames apart from like the small little frame drop we had at the start of the stream. So I can safely say it's not on my end of the stream end. Like, it's just my connection to the lobby.
As one song says, hopefully won't get copyrighted by this, and life is a game, but it isn't fair. So basically, guys, sometimes there are things in life that we cannot control. Now we can just try to enjoy in the rest of the inning as much as we can with this quality field. With most of the drivers now, pretty much everyone going for their second and final lap in Q2.
Of course, Ethan saying this is even worse for him right now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have the stream open on my phone right in front of me, and yeah, okay, it's in 720, but it's running smooth on my phone, so like, maybe that's not a me issue. But we are here coming towards the end of Q2. Silo and Volakongen have elected to retire from the session. They're happy with the laps they set. Obviously, typical.
My shoe's been validated.
Yeah, he has.
My shoes.
He should have enough time though to get himself around potential. Actually, no.
No, I don't think it's a minute.
He's running low on fuel as well. Even if he did get around, he's not gonna get a lap time on the board. If we got anyone else on a flying lap or coming to an end or a flying lap?
Osku.
Nah, Osku's just started. He just started his lap. Unfortunately.
I think pretty much everyone has not. No one is near the end.
No, I think. Yeah, I think the first person to be crossing the line will be the Aston of
RAB.
He's just done a lap, is he? Okay. There we go. That explains it. Mashuzu did just complete a lap. Apologies, guys.
Apologies. Now I'm just following Tico, who is I think the closest one to finish the lap. It's either him or the Aston in 14th place of RAB.
Yeah, RWB coming through the middle sector split now 7 times up on his time, which is putting him in the region around Venom and Oslu right now, but they're both on laps looking to improve on that. And we're going to see if RWB can get himself any higher in the final sector. Of course, Typical in 6th place on a 41.1. Can RWB get himself ahead of Typical? Because that's what he's going to be looking for.
Tico with rear locking. Sorry for cutting in there, Mike.
It's P2. Sorry, it's 0.2 there for him as Ticho crosses up into P3 there. A 40.9 for him. Oslu now to the line for ET8 as he crosses, and he's up to P6. Riska now to the line for EVR, and he's up into P2. A big lap there for him. Venom on the bubble, he's up into P3 and knocks RWB down, and I believe that's Bombier going up into P8 to get himself up the order, as now his teammate, his teammate Shano.
He is finishing his lap. He was 10th up on his time in the middle sector, coming to the bus stop, but really high on the curve, particularly in the second phase. Gets on the power nicely, P6.
Yeah, right now we have Aaron, the last car to cross the line, and it's not enough to get himself up the order. As I mean, Phil saying is running on 10 FPS. It really isn't, mate. I'm running it on my phone right now at 720. And well, I'm not dropping any frames or anything, but yeah, run you through the top 10 is of course Sido for ETA going through, along with Miska for Evolution Racing. Both of the Shazoo CD Igniters in 3rd and 4th with Venom ahead of Volakongan. Ticho for TF10 in 5th, Bumpier in 6th for IRT, along with Mashiro in 4th. In 8th, my bad. Ivan there in 7th for Alien Motorsport. And of course, Osku in 9th and Typical in 10. Our 5 drivers out is Shadow, RWB, Aaron, Justin, and Leroy. So now we head to the top 10 shootout. And from what we've seen so far, I mean, from what we've seen so far, it's going to be a very interesting to see what is going to happen with regards to who's going to get that pole position point, because obviously Shazoo and ET8 are both looking rapid here tonight, and then of course you got your Evolution Racing teams in Mishka and of course Ticho that can get in and amongst it as well. Bombier and Mashuzu also looking very quick for IRT. I mean, who are you putting your money on to get pole position here tonight?
First commentary here in 2 years, and I'm really faced with the tough question. Thanks a lot, Mike. But I'm gonna put my money on Tico for TF10. I know why, but he looked the most consistent out of all teams and drivers you mentioned. So yeah, I'm going with the Williams driver representing the TF10.
Okay, interesting. You're going with Ticho in the chat. We got Seeb saying Mashuzu going for pole position. Obviously back in the IRT driver there. And honestly, in terms of who I think is going to be on pole, I believe it could be an ET8
Mike,
ET8 pole. Yes.
sorry for cutting in, but we have a rain.
Oh, nice catch right there. As yeah, the rain is falling, so it's gonna be interesting now, guys, because the rain is coming down, and now it's not gonna be. Ooh, I mean, at some point on their flying lap, it's gonna get to that. It's gonna get to that point. It depends on how quickly the track dampens up out there on the circuit, but it is starting to rain. Everyone pretty much has one shot, one opportunity to get a lap time on the board. Who is going to be the person on pole position? We're about to find out together.
I think now it's sort of changing hands because with the track conditions like this, it's to me, from my experience as a league racer in the past, whoever crosses the line first gets it. And if Misha manages to get if Misha manages to complete a lap, I think he'll have a pole, no matter how, because the track will get worse and worse with every car passing by.
Yeah, absolutely. As Dirk in the chat saying Ticho above Sido. Interesting. He said 90% is Sido, 10% Volokongan is his pick. But you can see now the droplets on the track. It is starting to dampen up, and this is where the drivers are literally going to be on the edge of grip now, Ivan. As what we're going to see is a little bit of sliding going on. In terms of the lap time, I think it's potentially, like for the first half of it, the softs may be the better tyre to be on, but by the end of it, it could be more a case of the Inters were the better ones to be on. But on board with Mishka now, who is of course the first person who's going to be setting a lap time in these conditions, and you can see how much the Evolution Racing driver is struggling here.
To quote our former commentator partner, Mr. James said, it's like Bambi on ice.
It is absolutely like Bambi on ice as we head through Blanchimont. Is it going to be flat out, or is it going to be a bit of a lift? Completely flat out. DRS is disabled now. That is the indication that it is time for the intermediate tyres. But into the bus stop chicane will come Miska, and now to the line. What's it going to be? It's a 50.2. I think the Inders can go quicker than that.
It will be marginal. Silo 49.5.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think the intermediates can beat these times. These times on the softs, I think are not going to be good enough for pole position or anything. I think the Inders could potentially get a little bit quicker than these guys. If I'm Ivan and Bumpy, right, I'm coming. Oh, actually, Bumpy is already on the lap. But yeah, I mean, typical right now on the set the Inders. He came in at the end of his out lap, realizing okay, his best opponent set of the Inders now and go for a lap. I mean, it is better to be on the Inders. I think the Inders are going to be quicker by the end of the session. So interesting. I mean, normally in these conditions it's about who gets the lap in first, but I think the laps are beatable.
I was just full of typical now. Maybe it will be, looking at lap times, maybe it will be marginal because, but again, by all common sense, it will need to be who gets the lap first gets it, because even if the Inters are becoming quicker, that means that the track is getting slower because there is more patches on it, and you need to be more careful with your throttle application. You can't just lower the throttle after the corner, and by that you're just losing lap time. And but typical is on the lap now, and it's invalidation.
That was big, but yeah, in terms of what I'm thinking, like in terms of the lap times that the Inters could set, I'm thinking the Inters, obviously on low fuel, using the ERS, I'm thinking potentially like we could be getting like a, a 47s possibly in terms of the lap times, which of course is better than what Silo has done so far with a 49. I could be well off. Usually, when I think of the Inters lap time versus softs in terms of like the conditions, I'm usually thinking around about 5 seconds added on top, like in terms of the lap time. So, I mean, I still think the Inters could potentially go quicker. As we're seeing Riska there, absolutely four-wheel drifting there, rally style, World Rally Championship form right there from the Evolution Racing team driver, as he's into the pit lane, and of course he will be strapped on a set of the intermediate sides for sure. I think typical. I mean, is he going to go for another run? Like, that's going to be the thing. Does he have the fuel to go for another one? And then, of course, Daniel is saying, like, in terms of the Inters in the dry compound, obviously there was times quicker than what we're seeing right now done on Inters in the dry. But, of course, Inters in the wet, I think, is a little bit slower. Plus, there's no DRS. So, that's why I'm thinking maybe, like, 47.
I think it's game over. The rain is getting stronger now. At this rate, even Inters won't be enough.
We have to wait and see. That is one thing we will have to do, is wait and see. And of course, everyone in the pits right now.
Typical at it again.
Yeah,
sorry for cutting in there.
Yeah, going for a second run is typical. And of course, as you mentioned, the rain is getting worse, but it is still intermediate conditions. The rain is not absolutely pouring it down yet. I mean, the track, it looks incredibly damp out there, but it's not completely diabolical out there just yet, where the Inters are not going to be quick. I think the Inters are still going to be the quicker tyre to be on.
Yeah, typical in the first sector is already 2 seconds slower than Silo's run on the slicks. So I think that it is game over.
No. It's the middle sector is where we gotta keep an eye on that. Because remember at the start of the lap,
it was completely dry. Yeah, wasn't too bad. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what the middle sector split is going to say with typical now coming through. Now middle sector split 24.5. Oh, as he loses it on the curb.
Yeah, that Red Bull is really unstable on the rear end. It's really on the nose. From what we have seen in this session.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, in the chat we got Phil saying quali is over. I mean, I don't know. I think it is still possible to go slightly quicker than what we saw Silo do on the Inters in these conditions. I don't think it's going to be a big, 3-second gain or something like that, but I think that there's potential that there can be improvements found on Inters in these conditions. That's all I'm going to say, and I don't think everyone is disagreeing with that, because everyone's out there on the set of the Inters right now looking to try and get a better lap time on the board if possible. It could get to a point where, maybe it's all about that one mistake. I mean, we saw Typical make a huge mistake, and he's a couple of seconds off. Well, obviously, he did make that huge mistake, but we'll see. We'll see what the other drivers can do.
Yeah.
No, Typical made a big mistake.
Useful coming to the first split now.
Yeah, the first sector split, I'm not expecting the intermediates to be better, because they don't have the DRS or anything.
Around second and a half slower in the first split, but middle split is where it counts.
Yes.
A little bit of twitch going down to Russell.
Well, let's see what Ostu can do.
Really high on the curb.
That's
the one big mistake. That he went too high on the curb.
Yeah, the thing is, he is still valid, so he is still going, and he would have lost a bit of time. But let's see what the middle sector split. It could be a case where it is over. I mean, we'll have to see.
Looks scruffy. It's split.
Yeah, he's 5 seconds off his lap time. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, Phil, I can see. So it does look like it is going to be Silo who is going to be taking a pole position here. And he got the lap time in where it mattered. Just before the rain got too bad. As he comes through the bus stop chicane, and yeah. Silo to the line. He will have the pole position point for ET8. Mishka for Evolution Racing Team will join him on the front row. Volokongan in third. And of course we'll have Ostu in fourth. Mashuzu in fifth, along with Venom in sixth. Tito in seventh. Typical in eighth. Ivan ninth. Bombier. I mean, potentially he can jump up to eighth here with a good lap. Let's see what he can do. Coming through the bus stop chicane. Yeah, IRT.
I think he locked the fronts. Going to the bus stop. Here.
It's going to be a P9 for him in the end. Just missing out on P8. But yeah, it is Silo going to be starting from pole position.
Yeah. Action pack qualifying. Silo in the end. The best of the field. Best in the field, and he's rewarded with a pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. He got the lap in when it mattered. There was, I mean, I did have a glimmer of hope that the drivers were able to go quicker in the Inters, but maybe the conditions just wasn't good, or maybe I have completely overestimated the lap time that you can get on Inters, because normally when it comes to like Inters versus dries, I usually go in there basing it at an extra 5 seconds minimum and go from there. That's usually what I do.
Let's just put it this way. Let's say I won in the let's say small prediction competition for tonight.
But yeah, I thought it would have been a bit closer for improvements. But it is Saido who is going to be starting from pole position ahead of Mishka, who will join him on the front row. Volokongan in P3 with Osku in P4. Mazuru in P5 with Venom in P6. Ticho in P7. Typical in P8. Bumpier P9. And of course, Ivan going to be rounding out the top 10. And Ivan, after what we've seen in qualifying, I mean, it's good if you are, of course, if your course ETA is very good, because you got one of your drivers ahead of Shazoo, and your second driver is going to be starting right alongside the lead Shazoo car. Also, in terms of your battle with TF10 in the championship for second, both of your drivers are ahead of the TF10 drivers. Is this going to give ET8 a big confidence booster now going into the race?
Certainly, think yes, certainly for the start, because yeah, you never know how the race can develop when it comes to weather, maybe some incidents or something like that. But for the start, it seemed they have two really good drivers. They got everything covered from all angles. So yeah, I think they will go really strong at the start.
Fantastic right there. So I'm going to push you now for your podium predictions.
You know what? As I'll go for some OG prediction because that team was here when I was last doing this competition 2 or 3 years ago. I think Tyler will win, Pico second, and right now I'm going for and there is that OG prediction. Boompie for podium for third.
Very interesting. Very interesting. We're going to see if that prediction comes to fruition. For me, I'm going to go Silo for the win. I'm going to go Volakongan second. And for third, I am going to go... I'm gonna go Osku third. Double ETA podium. Why not?
Interesting. I mean, at least we agree who will win.
Of course, the drivers making sure that they have the setups and everything all sorted, the race strategies sorted ahead of the 5 red lights. And of course, I mean, going through the drivers' heads now is all going to be about getting through the first couple of corners, getting through the first lap with no damage, no issues. Of course, our turn 1 at La Source is a corner where you do see a lot of lunges down the inside at the start of the race. So the drivers are going to be, ultimately, I think I would probably prefer being on the inside compared to the outside if it's all clean and straightforward. But if you got someone looking down the inside, I think I'd rather be on the outside so I can take avoiding action if anything does happen.
Honestly, now, thing is, you see a lot of lunches here because people often overestimate the distance between start and the breaking point to the last source, or especially with the cold tires in the beginning. So we see a lot getting bunched up a lot there. And personally, will say that you'll depending on situation, you'll prefer to be in or either inside or outside. But in my case, I'll just I'll prefer just to have some marker ahead of me and be far away from the action, and then just build on through a rouge up to the Camel Straight.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, a good start is something that is gonna really open up the door to opportunities down into the source for the drivers. Of course, another thing, guys, obviously, in terms of the remaining races of the season, we will be finding that out tomorrow on the PC stream. So make sure you guys tune in for PC round number 9 tomorrow, so you can see what the final 3 races of the championship is going to be in the console championship. We will find that out all tomorrow. But everyone in the chat, let me know right now, what is your predictions for this race? Who do you think is going to be getting the podium positions? Do you see Shazoo losing out to one of the teams in behind? Do you see ET8 now really pulling away from TF10? Do you see TF10 overturning ET8? Do you see Evolution Racing team getting themselves closer to that battle for P2? Let me know in the chat your guys' predictions as we head to those 5 red lights to get underway here in Belgium. Lights out and we are underway, and that is a very choppy start to the race right there. I must say so myself.
Yeah, let's see into turn 1. Multiple cars were side by side, but it looks all clear. One car being pushed a little bit to the gravel there, but I don't know who that was. And now say all your prayers to survive a rouge. I think already we have a car wide, and with possibly a little bit of damage.
Yes, we're seeing oh, big lag right there. I think that is on my end in terms of just connection to the lobby.
Venom has damage, I think. He is really far behind. I think there's no front right end plate.
So for
Venom, Mercedes, P20.
For Venom. Heartbreaker.
Yeah.
That is, of course, one of the Shazoo drivers
Oh,
down
the
the
two
order.
cars.
Oh,
We have two cars in the wall.
Yeah, that's Lucas and Aaron in the wall. Lucas, of course, served a quali ban, has to make his way through the field, but that is not going to help him. Same with Aaron, who qualified a little bit down the order, and he's going to have to come into the pits as well, of course. Heartbreak for the pair of them.
Right,
Contact
the action already
made.
started.
I tell you what, though, a good start from Silo and Volokongan. They got away, they got clear. Good start from Bumpier up into 5th on those medium compound tyres, and of course he's going to be using these to try and make overtakes quick and efficiently, and then maybe get an undercut on people. As we've got Ivan and RWB side by side coming through the bus stop chicane.
There was contact behind the Thiago and was it Venom again? I don't know what happened there, but Thiago. Oh, I think Thiago just spun on his own. So that's the cause for the yellow.
Not good there, but ladies and gentlemen, DRS is now enabled down the Kemmel Straight, and we're going to see the gap between Silo and Volokongan close in slightly. But Volokongan will be very content with this, because all he's got to do is just stick within that DRS range, and eventually Silo's going to have to use his battery to stay ahead of Volokongan. But obviously for right now, Silo just has that gap to hold on, but Volokongan needs to make sure as well that Mishka in behind doesn't put him under too much pressure. As we got Bumpier still doing a very good job in P5 on those medium compound tyres, and of course he's your prediction for a possible podium here tonight. So it'll be interesting to see if it's going to be Mystic Ivan in the commentary box.
On track we have AMS Simon and potentially Mystic Ivan in the commentary box. As per words of Ivor bring Mike. Yeah. Honestly, if I get it right, I might buy my lottery tickets.
Honestly, if you get your prediction right, I'm asking you for the lottery numbers for the Euro Millions, mate. That's what I'm doing. But coming on to lap number 3 now. Saito still leads the way, setting the fastest lap of the race. Volokongan still chasing him down with Mishka still in P3. Oscu there in P4 as we've got Bumpier on those mediums, really getting underneath that rear wing of the ET8 man in P5. And now Bumpier is close enough that if he uses his battery, he could potentially have a look at a move down in towards.
He's got a run. He's got a run.
He does have a run, but I don't think
so did Oscu. So did also Misha.
Yeah, Oscu has to go for Mishka here down the inside and runs deep, but he's just keeping it within track limits. That's opening the door now for Bumpier side by side, and he's a little bit onto the gravel and has to sit in behind, but he sends it down the inside of the Brussels. Bumpier down the inside, and
he got this.
Yeah, Bumpier
what a move.
Gets himself up into P4. Oscu up into the podium positions, and Mishka down 2 spots in a matter of seconds as yeah, the lobby is proper glitching for me right now as everyone was bouncing around all over the place in terms of position, in terms of the timing table, but we will persevere. Right now I believe it will stabilize again. Hopefully when we cross the start finish line it will stay stabilized and we won't have any more issues. But what that has done is allowed Volokongan and Silo now to break DRS to the rest of the field.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say earlier, I mean slightly earlier, is Bumpier choosing the mediums. Looking at the sky, you never know. It's again partly cloudy. We could have potentially a rain in the race. You never know. So Bumpier might try to use the mediums to make as much places as possible and then go aggressive, possibly on the undercut. But he's got to run through Rouge. He needs to be careful here not to lose the back end. Yeah, I think he has this. P3.
Yeah, won't be too close to Oscu there, and there's going to be job done for him, and up into the podium position goes Bompier. As again we get a bit of a lag moment right there.
Yeah, Venom fastest lap, but he's really far away from the action. Him, Thiago, Aaron, and Lucas, they are in Bon Jovi, but they really are living on a prayer right now.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're on lap 4 of 22, as you mentioned, there are clouds above. Could possibly be a threat of rain at some point in this race, but we will have to wait and see how that all transpires. I'm on board with a lovely little scrap that's going on in the midfield right now, as you got Ticho just ahead of Typical. Ivan's in behind him, he's got a penalty to his name. RWB and Mashuzu, they're all in close proximity to each other. Shadow as well, and we're going to see if there's going to be any overtakes made in that midfield pack. So it looks like Shadow closing in on Mashuzu.
He'll look up, locking the fronts really hard into the pass-up chicane, but again gaining time on Volakongen on the exit. Presumably having a little bit more rear wing is the ET8 driver.
Absolutely, ETA driver possibly carrying a little bit more front wing, which of course is going to help him in terms of the middle sector to keep that gap decent enough that he's able to hold off Volakongen. But now Bombier, the lead car in this train, is he going to be under threat? Not this time around, as Oscar nowhere near close enough to make the move. And this is the point now where Bombier needs to break out of that 1 second window and do everything he can to close up to the top 2.
Cass with a time penalty, Ferrari driver in 14th place. Only second person to get a time penalty on the grid, what is really remarkable, considering that usually these kind of races are known to be track limits penalty fest.
Yeah, they normally they normally do throw up a few track limit penalties, but of course the standards that these guys are at, track limit penalties are usually few and far in between, and any 3 second that is picked up by any of these drivers is greatly punished, and usually results in several positions being lost. Shadow on the back of Mashuzu here as we head down in towards the bus stop chicane, tries to look for the inside line, switches back to the outside. The ILT driver holding the middle ground and holds the position right there. So Mashuzu there holding on to P10, but under big pressure from Shadow in behind. And at what point do the medium tyres begin to feel very second hand versus these hard compound tyres? I think we are possibly a lap or 2 away from that potential crossover beginning to happen. As Miska has used all of his ERS, and he's going to be under huge pressure from these guys in behind. As RWB gets through on Ivan, up in the P8 goes the ground effect spec racing driver, as Shadow still trying to put the pressure on the IRT man in P10. Battling in the midfield is allowing Typical and Ticho to try and pull away here, but there's just enough grip on those medium compound tyres to stick with these guys for the time being. But as I said, when will that crossover happen between the mediums and the hards? Bombier doing his best to open up that gap to Osku. Osku just about holding within that 1 second for the time being. As we come through Kupol 3, now in through Stavolo and on to the straight now and down in towards Blanchimont. I think Osku right now, he definitely has yellow flag in the back, and I think that is was that the...
I don't know what happened.
Was that the Red Bull of Leroy falling down the order there? I did see Shadow did pass Mashu as well, so Shadow now up into P10. back up towards...
Oh, Daniel with the lunge in the on Shadow. No, not Shadow, what Mashuzu. Ambitious. Oh, we have a DNF.
Yeah,
Lair.
into the pits, and out of the race goes Leroy. He's come in, he's had enough, and he's retired from the session. And Daniel, after trying to make that engine move on Mashuzu, is not going to be able to get that move done. Oscu has managed to get himself ahead of Bumpier now. So Oscu ahead of the IRT man, and on to the podium he'll go. And are those mediums...
We could potentially see Bumpier pitting soon. I think those mediums start to fade. I can see a little bit of blistering on the front left. Yeah, I think the stars are gone. He's wide now in the Pukon again.
Yeah, Shark Limit 1 definitely would have been picked up by Bumpier there, and you can't afford too many of them. He's in a fantastic position to fight for a podium here, and with the undercut as well, he should be able to gain some ground. And then it's about holding off towards the end of the race. But you can see how much time he's just losing in that middle sector to Oscu, who has picked up a couple of tenths on him in that middle sector. I mean, Bumpier is going to keep DRS, but is he now just going to be happy to get towed along by the ET8 driver?
For people in the pits, Ivan and Mashuzu.
Yeah, and of course for them it's a big undercut for those two drivers as well, because they were battling in that train with Ticho all the way down to medal, and of course that has opened up the gaps a little bit now, as we're seeing Mishka again close to the back of Bumpier, but not going to be close enough to go for a move, not this time around. And basically now the gaps are opened up. Shadow is going to be under pressure now from Daniel and Justin in behind, same with Gaten, and of course Medal. Ivan and Mashuzu now with fresh tyres on are going to be able to try and do what they can, as Mashuzu had a little peek down the inside but wasn't in a position to go for that overtake. Used up an awful lot of battery to get himself in position. Oh, he's onto that curb. I think that potentially might have been a little bit of a lag moment right there, as Mashuzu almost giving me a little bit of a heart attack then as he got onto that sausage curb on the exit, but I think that was a lag right there in the lobby.
Yeah, I think Bumpier will go into the pits now. I think Mashuzu went in just to, let's say, feel the ground and to give some feedback on how the hards work now, and according to that, Bumpier will pit soon. Not this time, but I think in the next lap.
I'll tell you what though, this is going to be big for Mishka here in terms of this lap, because if Bumpier drops out of DRS range on Oscu up ahead, which obviously the gap has gone to like 7 tenths of a second, but that is going to come down with DRS. If the gap grows considerably, then Mishka is going to be struggling, but it looks like Mishka is using absolutely everything to try and get this move done. But out of battery now is the Evolution Racing driver, but he's going to outbrake and goes down the inside. Job done there for Mishka, and that is crucial because now he can stay within DRS range of Oscu.
Yeah, a move out of textbook from Mishka.
As we're approaching the halfway distance in this race, with lap 9 of 22. Silo leads the way ahead of Volakongan in second place. Oscu there in P3 ahead of Mishka there in P4. And then of course we've got Bumpier in P5, Ticho in P6 for TF10. And of course we've got Typical in P7. RWB floating on the edge of DRS to Typical in P8. And then of course we've got Shadow floating on the edge of DRS as well in P9 to RWB. And of course we've got Daniel in 11th. got a 2.2 second gap to Gaten in 11th, who is just ahead of Justin and Medal on track, and they aren't too far ahead of Thiago, but
in the pits, as I was predicting.
and RWB continues on. And there's no DRS there for the ground effect spec driver, so big opportunity now for Shadow to catapult past the Aston Martin, the ground effect spec driver, and maybe get himself into possible P7 here.
Yeah, even Daniel isn't that far off.
Oh, here comes Shadow now with DRS.
Easy.
He's run out of DRS. Job done for Shadow. RWB has to concede the position. Nothing he could do about that with no ERS or DRS really to fight that. He does have the a little bit of battery, but wasn't going to be enough to keep him ahead, I don't think. Daniel now next up to try and get a move done on RWB here. The top two though have been in a race of their own, Volakongan and Silo. They have absolutely dominated thus far, and unless there's a safety car or an unfortunate timed virtual safety car for these two, I don't see anyone else really catching them in this race.
I mean, the guys from guys like Venom, Lucas, and Aaron, like I said, they are completely out of play after that. After those incidents, what happened in the start, Thiago managed to gain some ground, at least on medal. So he isn't completely out of play because he hadn't done an extra pit stop. But Venom, Lucas, and Aaron are like, and there's rain. There's rain, Mike.
Yep, rain is falling on the track here on lap number 11 of 22. The raindrops are falling here in Belgium, and now it's all going to be about what is going to be the perfect lap to go into the pit lane. We saw in qualifying how quickly it went from dries to inters. Is it going to be a similar transition here in the race? Will we see drivers into the pit at the end of this lap?
And you know what I was saying for Venom, Lucas, and Aaron? This might be perfect for them. Like I said a couple of laps ago, they aren't Bon Jovi, but they're living on a prayer. If they manage to get this transition right, this might be their prayer.
Potentially, the only one that's coming to the pits is Aaron, and it looks like he's put on a set of the hard compound tyres, so he's gone on to another set of dry. So I think that's Aaron completely out of that prayer. He's no longer living on it.
Proved it.
He needs a full course safety car now to get himself back into this race, does Aaron. But I mean, it just depends on how quickly the rain transitions the track towards intermediate tyres. Of course, there's a very long lap here at Belgium, so it's a case of, do you risk coming into the pits now and pray that over the course of the lap it does turn into the inters? And it looks like Silo is going to risk it. Silo into the pit lane, and this is going to be for a set of the inters, that is for sure. As
Daniel RB, you're back. Meanwhile, sorry for cutting in. All contact, and both of them are in the pits. Became perfect for REB because those mediums were dead.
Yeah, and it makes you think, did Bongier and Mashuzu and of course Ivan, did those three make big mistakes by pitting early?
They're staying out.
Yeah, they should have stayed out with the rain being as it is, but let's have a look at the Silo on these intermediates and just see what's called what is it, grip is like versus the hards in front.
DRS is still enabled, so race control still thinks that it's safe enough to use DRS.
Yeah, it's going to be in this lap. It's definitely going to be in this lap.
On the brakes and on the traction, the gap is literally too big to ignore it.
Yeah, and there goes Silo through on Medal down the inside towards Brussels. And yeah, there's just no contest right there. Silo absolutely nailing the pit stop right there. And honestly, I'm surprised we didn't see the double stack with Roxco because they had the gap there. I mean, Oscar may have lost a little bit of time, but he would have gained it all back on this lap, where of course the Incas would have switched on versus the hards. But
I'm disconnected.
yeah, Aaron disconnected. Unfortunate for him. Silo making swift progress through the field now. And you're seeing Rishka really closing up to the back of middle. That's indicating that it is the intermediate tyres. And into the pits surely will come these guys. Volakonga now into the pit. So we'll see Ostu, Ticho, typical Shadow and Justin all funnel into the pits. But how much of a gap is Silo going to get on Volakonga?
Oh
no, this is going to be dangerous.
The car.
Silo absolutely reading that there, and Gideon stayed out on those. Oh, Gideon, no, not ideal for him, and it's actually going to be closer. I think, I think Silo actually does get ahead of Volakongan there, but the undercut from Silo didn't work as much as he would have liked because he was being held up by those guys on the dry tyres. So Volakongan now, as DRS has been disabled, has the opportunity now to go for the
still
move.
hasn't pitted. Still hasn't pitted. Bumpy is doing a Schumacher from 95.
Oh, side-by-side action between the top two as Silo and Volakongan still side-by-side. And Silo on the inside, Volakongan on the outside. Little bit of contact made between them, but they both get through. Oscar has still managed to hold on to a net P3, but look at this on the back of him now. Mishka, Ticho, and of course we've got Bumpy on the hard tyres. I tell you what though, for these guys on the dries, they're sticking it on the dries, so it's a fair play to them. But they must be expecting the rain to not last too long.
Bumpy out of the way.
Yeah, typical. Really getting his elbows out to come through then. But yeah, the only thing I can think of with these guys sticking it out on the dries is that potentially it is going to go back to the dry conditions. So we're going to have to see how that unfolds. But are they going to lose too much time? That is going to be the question. But right now, Silo ahead of Volakongan, leading this race.
My shoes in the wall. Sorry for cutting in there, Mike. My shoes in the wall out of Fanya.
And heartbreak there for the
contact between Shadow and Ivan.
Oh, more contact.
My shoes in the wall out.
And is that a safety car?
Out there. Probably safety car in this area.
I think it's a virtual.
We'll see for now, yeah. But I think it can still get turned to a safety car.
That is just saved Gaydon now. Because he will benefit from this virtual safety car. Yeah, so all the time that he would have lost being on those dry tyres, it's just been minimised by this virtual safety car. Remember, he was battling with the likes of with Justin and that before the phase in terms of the Inders, and he's going to come out not too far behind.
Volakongan overtook Silo, changed for the lead. Please, he tries to again.
Volakongan really trying to get this move done on Silo, and in the chat right there, Dirk saying if DRS stayed 5 seconds longer, Volakongan would have had P1, and yeah, he would have, because DRS got disabled just as they were coming up through Illusion Radion.
Yeah, Misha Notsko fighting for the P3.
Yeah,
Bumpy, I think that it's game over.
Yep.
He's literally drifting.
Yep, Bumpy,
like doing WRC with the F1 car.
Really struggling on those hard compound tyres, and it's to be expected. Completely on the wrong compound tyre at this stage. The only thing I can think of is that he goes drier late in this race, but it's not worth this. As Thiago gets through, Gaydon gets through. Bombier is going to be out of the points, and that is 100% for sure now. Medal sliding through also as his teammate is out of the race as well. And that is the end, I think, of Mystic Ivan's prediction here.
It is, fortunately.
But Mystic Mike's prediction is
maybe
still alive.
Maybe it's end of Mystic. And yeah, you'll probably win it at this rate.
Of course, the prediction that I put in at the start of the race was, of course, a double ET8 podium, but Volokongan getting P2. The prediction I put in is still on for now, but it's going to be a very tough battle for Oscar to get that podium because Miska and Ticho are no slouches, and any battling is going to allow Typical back into this as well. And we're going to see what is going to happen as Oscar now back through up into P3 he goes. Ticho is he's just sitting waiting for an opportunity to open up, isn't he, the TF10 driver. And speaking of TF10, Thiago, a very, very good recovery drive from what happened at the start of this race. He's up in the P11, he's got no penalties, so he will jump Shadow on penalties. Justin's just in front of Shadow as well. It's been a very...
Yeah, I should have made a mistake now. He's gaining on him really, really big time.
Yeah, Thiago has definitely had a very strong recovery race after his early incident. So TF10 can be proud of him for that.
Really good job from Thiago. I think he'll overtake Shadow without penalties in no time. Bumpy is still drifting, still on the track.
Why is Bumpy still out on the hard zone? It's got to dry out. The only thing I can think of why Bumpy is still out.
So much time.
Yeah, he's losing so much time. The only thing I can think of is that it is going to dry out and he doesn't want to lose an extra 25-30 seconds in the pits. But he's going to lose that just by staying out regardless. Oh, as Ticho, big send. I think he missed his braking point and he's had to commit to that overtake right there. But I don't think that Ticho meant to go for that lunge down the inside. If he did, then fair play, very controlled lunge down the inside. But these two battling side by side is now going to allow Oscar the opportunity to get away. 1.2 is the gap, and we just had confirmation in the chat saying that it is going to go dry. So that is why Bumpy is staying out, but he's losing way too much time by sticking out on those dry compound tires.
He's out of play already. He's out of play already. To gain, he will need to be around 5th, 6th, at worst inside the top 10, but he is way, way below that already. He's behind Venom.
Yeah, he's behind Venom, and of course, he's around about 15 seconds. Well, yeah, he's almost 10 seconds off the back of Venom. Venom is, of course, the person in the final point paying position. As we got Thiago and Shadow side by as they go through Brussels, and Shadow's going to hold on to that for now. But Thiago really trying to
look at the train of car behind though. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in fight for P10.
Yeah, and
Shadow is wide.
Bumpy, he's picking up so many 3-second time penalties now due to being on the wrong tyre. Like, I think it is completely all over for him. Absolutely. As Ticho, after getting the move done on Muska, is closing back in.
Made a mistake. Yeah, got through. Sorry for cutting in their mic constantly.
No, you're good. Meadow and Shadow. Side by side gate, and obviously let go by Shadow. Shadow's trying to put the pressure on, but Gaten trying on the outside. Contact there with Thiago and Gaten coming through the bus stop chicane, and Thiago gonna hold on to P10 for the time being. He's looked very comfortable in these intermediate conditions, does Thiago. Lap 17 of 22. Apparently it is going to be drying out at some point, so we're going to have to keep an eye on when the rain stops. But for right now, the drivers are just trying to get through this phase without losing a huge amount of time and picking up
Santiago.
As here goes Gaten on Thiago, up in the P10 he goes, and Thiago will settle down for P11. Medal ahead of Shadow as well. Shadow falling down the order. Is that wing damage on the Ferrari? Yes it is. He's missing the front left end plate on his Ferrari right there. So Shadow going to be struggling in these intermediate conditions with the lack of downforce.
Right. Burki is out of the session.
Yeah, he came into the pits and retired. He knew his race was over. Heartbreak for Bombier. He was looking so good in the dries, but he stayed out. I mean, he made the pit stop when he probably should have stuck out on his mediums. Then, of course, he stayed out on the hards when it went to the inters, and he just lost so much time and just picked up way too many 3-second time penalties to be in this race come the end.
What he tried to do in the last couple of laps when he started to lose places was simply fighting against the windmills.
Yeah, it was just wasn't going to happen for Bombier. So IRT, no points for them here tonight. Both their drivers retiring from this race. Bombier and Mashuzu out of this race. Of course, Lioira, the other DNF from this race thus far. As we got Shadow into the pits. Shadow's out. So
Shadow falling off like flies here, like flies from the wall here.
Yeah, Shadow out of the race. He's left the session as well. But is that done to? Was that like irreversible damage for Shadow? Is that why he retired, or was that just a case of he just did not think he was getting anything out of this race with the wing damage? As the rain is slowing and we are getting closer to stopping right now, Ivan. As in the chat right now, people are saying Ticho should be getting a pen for the push to pass. I'm assuming it's the lunge at the bus stop on Mishka that you are referring to. As the rain, I think, has stopped. It's stopped on track. Yeah, the rain has stopped. There's no rain in the final sector, so it is now going to dry out.
Sorry, mate. Didn't manage to catch it. They're starting to question me where I'll go for a New Year's Eve.
No, you are good, mate. As the rain has stopped you on track.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's going to be interesting because
only 3 laps.
Yeah, we're getting to the end of the race now. Is it worth pitting and putting on a set of the dries? RWB thinks it is. So let's see what happens here, because RWB has to make up a pit stop deficit now on these dry compound tires.
I already told it is worth it on softs, but I think it won't last the distance. I think the mediums will be a safer option.
I mean, it will be the safer option, but I mean, the soft tires, even when worn, should be quicker than the intermediates on a dry circuit. So,
but can they endure 3 laps or 4 laps around Spa, like non-stop pushing? That is the question.
I mean, I think they're going to be capable of holding on for at least 2 laps. At least, I think. Obviously, you may be getting them a little bit worn going through the final 2 laps, but you can see coming through the comms,
it's not the time.
Dry tires just yet. So RWB has gambled, and the gamble, I don't think, has paid off right there, because he just does not have the grip on those soft tires at this moment in the race. They will come to him.
Nico caught up to old school. Meanwhile,
Chicho on the back of Osku now for the final podium position. Volakongan still staying within that 1 second of Silo here, and that's going to be crucial, because if DRS gets activated, Volakongan and Ticho will be able to try and get the overtakes done on both of the ETA drivers in front of them. As we are on lap 20 of 22. 3 more racing laps to go here in this race. Silo for ET8 leads the way ahead of Volakongan for Suzuki.
Yeah,
Tiago and Medal into the pits now. So they're going to be putting on a set
Tiago
of
medal,
drivers.
yeah, not gas. Yeah, Tiago medal in the pits.
But the thing is, though, the soft tires are they're still losing time.
But yeah, I think softs are only option in here, so 2 laps it should be doable. Let's see. I think the track definitely improved in over the lap. So
yeah, the track's improving.
Yeah.
We're seeing RWB now starting to close in a bit. So he's gone a lap too early. As you got Tiago looking for this move on Venom. DRS is now enabled. So now
there
it
goes
is
Tiago.
go time.
Like a freight train.
Yeah, absolute go time now for these guys on the soft tires. How many positions can they gain in the final couple of laps? It is a huge risk now for anyone to come into the pits at this stage. A huge risk.
It will be suicidal. So sorry for cutting. It will be suicidal to pit because there's no more time. There's time left. There's no time left to do it.
We are going to see what is going to happen in the closing stages. As Ticho now 1.3 off the back. Volokongan is sticking with Silo here. We're on the penultimate lap of the race. Is it going to be Silo? Is it going to be Volokongan? That is going to be the question. Who will be taking the race win here tonight? Volokongan and Silo both pretty low in terms of the ERS, so Silo 10% better off. Oxcu though absolutely flying on his ERS versus Ticho. Riska is very low on his battery, so he's going to be under pressure from Typical in behind. If Typical is going to be burning near Daniel and Justin, holding on to a good solid P7 and P8 right now. Gaten right now in a good P9. Ivan, he's at P10 at this moment, but these soft tyres are coming for him. And RWB and Tiago, along with Metal, are close enough that they could catch him and possibly overtake him before the end of this race. That is going to be the issue for Ivan. Plus, with that penalty, he's almost certainly going to fall behind the 3 soft runners. That is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, RWB gaining 10th or 2 per corner. Now it's not time when if he'll overtake Ivan. The question is when he'll overtake him.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the battles that we're keeping an eye on right now. Obviously, the battle for the race lead as we go into the final lap. We'll be seeing what's going to happen with that gap. This battle for P4 in this race. And of course, the soft tyres, how are they going to get on versus Ivan in P10? I don't think they're going to get any higher than that unless these intermediates, obviously they're very worn, but the new thing that will come into it is the overheating. That is going to be the next big issue as we are on the final lap of the race. Volokongan versus Silo here. And looks like Volokongan has done enough for his battery. He's got more than what Silo has. And now the run down the Kemmel Straight is going to happen here. Volokongan closing in, but he's not going to be close enough this time in towards Le Combs. But now it's about saving the battery to go again. As Oskar holds off the threat of Ticho in behind as we got Typical getting through on Miska. Up in the P5 goes the LR driver. Ahead of the Evolution Racing Team driver, he's up the order into P5, Mishka down to P6. Then of course we got Gaten on the back of Justin, not able to get the overtake done. Here goes RWB on Ivan up the order, and now Tiago will be the next one to try and get a move done here. Too late for him to get any further up the order than of course the battle for P10. So it's unfortunate, but we're seeing the time gain that they are gaining through these corners. They might be able to get possibly within the penalty of Gaten, possibly. If Gaten has 6 seconds, it's on.
It'll be marginal call, but let's go back to the battle for the win.
Yep, Volokongan spending everything he can to try and close up.
Silo
is too far ahead and is going to be ET8 Silo coming through the bus stop chicane for the final time, and he'll come through to pick up victory for ET8 Esports, crossing the line ahead of Volakonga in the second place. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it is going to be Mystic Mike here tonight, as the prediction has come true for me, as Osku makes it an ET8 double podium. Ticho there in P4 with typical P5, Riska P6, Daniel P7. Then of course we got Justin just ahead of Gaten. Gaten's going to jump on the line. Gaten up into P8 just ahead of Justin. A drag race to the line. RWB will cross the line in P10 just ahead of Thiago in 11th. Then of course Ivan will finish ahead of Medal on track, but that penalty drops Ivan behind Medal. And now we got Venom coming through to take on P14 in this race. And the final point paying position could be going the way of Lucas, and Lucas possibly going for the fastest lap of the race as well. In fact, let's have a look at the fastest lap. Who has the fastest lap? It is currently Venom, a 1:44.4. Lucas is doing enough right now to get a quicker lap time here, and he'll cross the line. Is this going to be the new fastest lap for Lucas? Yes, it is.
It is.
So there we have it. Lucas did pick up the fastest lap, so he will gain the point for the fastest lap of the race. But it is going to be all celebration right now for ET8. A double podium. Volakongan obviously jumping on the podium with the two ET8 drivers, but with Venom all the way down in 14th place. 2 points gained for Venom in this race, but a huge amount of points gained for ET8. And that is really going to help them in terms of extending their gap to TF10, but also is going to help them close the gap down to Shazoo for the final few rounds of the season. So let's run you through the order again. It is, of course, Silo who takes the race win ahead of Volakongan in second place, Oxku in third, Ticho in fourth with Typical in fifth, Mishka in sixth with Daniel in seventh, Gaten eighth, Justin ninth, RWB rounding out the top 10. Of course, 11th was Tiago, and then of course was 12th was Medal, Ivan 13th, Venom 14th, Lucas with the fastest lap in 15th place, and then of course Aaron finishing but outside of the points, no points for him. And our non-finishers was Shadow, Bumpier, of course, the second IRT driver of let me just get the stream back up, and
That's good turn of the day, I think.
Mashuzu, and of course last but not least Leroy, who retired early on in the race. What a race that was. Obviously a lot of battles going on in the midfield. In terms of just what we saw in the fight for the win, it was a very interesting battle between Volakongan and Silo. A battle that really just came down to how much ERS you had and how well you were positioned going into the closing stages of that race. Because Volakongan, the one mistake you could say from Volakongan is that he didn't pit the same lap as Silo. That is the only small mistake you could say, but Silo got held up behind cars on the hard tires when it was raining and the inters were better. So the gap that Silo could have made, he never did. So Volakongan didn't lose out anything in terms of that, but he made sure he was in the right spots at the right time. He just did not have the ERS at the end to catch Silo. And with that, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting end to the season. Of course, we only have 3 races to go now in the championship. We do not know where we'll be going to next. Of course, we will find out. Of course, we'll find out tomorrow where we'll be going for the final 3 rounds of the championship. And you will find out in PC tier tomorrow. Of course, a quick reminder of the point system here, just so you can see the points gained for ET8 here tonight. Of course, with Olakongan finishing in second place and Venom down in 14th, 20 points for them. You can see already that Silo, just with the race win alone, never mind the pole position, all the points from Oxlu, has already outscored both Shazoo drivers. So ET8, I believe, an 18-point gain on Shazoo. Now, I mean, Shazoo did have a huge gap going into tonight's race, and I will just quickly get the gap that was up. So, I mean, Shazoo had the gap of 86 points. The gap was obviously 18 points gained for ET8 here tonight. It's definitely going to close that gap down, but they need to do a big amount of work now in the closing stages of the championship. But Ivan, obviously first race of the season, what a race to come back to, and did you enjoy yourself?
I surely did. It's nice to be back after 2 years of absence from league racing and DML commentary. It has been a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, of course, and we will be back for round number 10. Whichever circuit it is, we will be here to cover it in the console championship for CTC. But until then, guys, I have been Michael Edwards. He has been Ivan Tonsik, and we'll catch you next time out, wherever it will be. It doesn't matter. We will see you there. Until then, guys, it is goodbye from the pair of us.